take one look at the screenshots of Majin and Sacrificial Girl, and your mind begins to imagine what could possibly be going on. Almost clay-like surreal creatures bathed in a color scheme of soft yellows, desaturated blues, and purples, all washed with this noisy grain of dithering. How could you not be excited? First impressions are so important, and if you were scrolling around the internet and managed to stumble upon this, you would immediately want to know more. Majin and Sacrificial Girl is a small indie deck builder game set in 15 floors of a maze. And maybe that's the problem. Majin and Sacrificial Girl cannot live up to the first impression it sets. It's a very simple game, almost too simple. You can beat it pretty easily in one sitting and without much difficulty. As a deck builder, it's perfectly fine. Each floor grants you a new card to add to your deck, almost all of which have useful abilities easy enough to decipher that I only had one card that I didn't know what it did. Cards allow more moves per turn, buff attacks, shield you for a turn, and there's a variety of attacks with interesting drawbacks or restrictions. I was never able to put together what it means when a card is blue, but one of the more interesting wrinkles is when a card is yellow. Yellow cards will forcibly end your turn, making it so that you have to adapt your lines to make sure this card is either used last or possibly not used at all in favor of something else. Getting good lines feels rewarding, and being able to cut cards you don't want clogging your deck allows you to speed through your power plays with more consistency. And that's kind of the bulk of Majin and Sacrificial Girl. Enemies are rarely varied in any manner other than how they look. When you lose a battle, you get to instantly return with no consequence, so it often feels like you lose not because there is a tough enemy in front of you, but because you got unlucky and your deck bricked. The dungeon maze is almost entirely a big pile of nothing. Every floor has the same type of items of interest strewn throughout it. An item chest that gives you a new card, a mushroom fellow who you can pay to increase your health, a crystal that gives you a new line of story. Yeah, that's it. Rinse, wash, and repeat. And it's kind of a bummer. What gets your foot through the door is this distinctive and eye-catching art style, but there has to be a game there that keeps you playing. The charm can't hold on for a couple hours, it just becomes normal. Honestly, after the first floor of zooming through nothing burger stone walls, you start to forget about the great look of the game as it all just becomes normal. Obviously, this is a small game, so it's not like it really outstays its welcome, but it left me with a sense of longing. It's not the game's fault that my mind cooked up higher expectations than it could handle, it's just a sad fact of life. I was hoping to come on here and gush about this surreal and creepy beautiful game I found, and instead I am here typing about a decent enough deck builder with a cool dithering and color overlay. Some of this footage is a little goofy. When the game opened for me, it did so in windowed mode and without a sort of options menu to adjust the resolution. I figured this was supposed to be this way, but after realizing I couldn't back out of my menus, I did a little hunting to see if anyone else was having the same problem I was. Long story short, if you're going to play this, do so after hitting Alt-Enter to get the game into full screen and properly scaled. But while I was looking around, I saw a backlogged review from someone named Pasicon Deacon, where they said the following. Honestly, you could just admire the title screen and leave satisfied. That's exactly how I feel about Majin and Sacrificial Girl. You're not here to play an okay deck builder. You're definitely not here to play an almost non-existent first-person dungeon crawler. You're here because the grit and grain of this bruised color palette and the monsters that bask in it. And oddly enough, there are points in this game where this vibe unintentionally shows through. This isn't a real criticism. Once again, this is a super small indie game, but Majin and Sacrificial Girl has long, chunky loading times. Specifically, when you lose a battle, the screen will freeze for a good amount of time as you get back to the dungeon. I don't know how else to say it. These monsters look so much better as still images. In movement, they are too flowing, almost too rubbery in the way that betrays the possible creepiness of their design. But frozen in place, they feel more alive than ever. I really don't want to dog this game. I know I'm coming in kind of hot, but its shortcomings, while excusable by being a quick indie game, make it seem more like a tech demo than an actual game. If you got a couple spare hours, it won't hurt to play it, but if you think there's something more behind its opening title, be warned that there might not be. Oh, and all the music is the most generic throwaway tunes I've heard. All this footage has the audio turned almost all the way down. Instead, you can hear MBT's Yu-Gi-Oh videos as I play.
Get creative. I expect blood. I expect carnage. But more than anything else, I expect to be proven right once again.